You see, something's going to happen.
What? What's going to happen?
Something wonderful.
What?
I understand how you feel. You see, it's all very clear to me now.
Welcome to the Occult Rejects. This episode, we got a very, very, very special episode. It is a bunch of the rejects together, and we got a reject who had a book that we're going to talk about. But before we get to Ethan, who wrote the book, the author, we will introduce the other rejects. So, Headless Giant, please let everybody know who you are, what's up, in case they don't know.
How you doing, everybody? Happy Friday. So you can find me on Twitter at The Headless Giant and on YouTube at The Headless Giant as well. So check me out there. I'm also on Instagram, and you can catch my show on Thursday nights where I read your occult and or strange paranormal emails. And you can email those to the Headless Giant podcast at gmail.com. Also, I got a show with Ethan coming up on Sunday called The Trialogue, so check that out as well.
Get those emails in and check out that Trialogue show. Thank you very much, Ellis. And my man, Jules, we got him this week. Finally got him on again. Always love having him here.
You got me.
Yes.
Well, what's going on, guys? I'm Jules. You've seen me here before. Host of the Gray Pill podcast. Stoked tonight to hear a little bit about what Ethan has to say, to hear about his book, and just to hear about the Fourth Initiate. I'm I have a lot of shows I do. I'm not going to get into that whole spiel right now. I can do that at the end when we do our plugs. But yeah, guys, y'all can find me on Twitter at GrayPillPod, over on Rumble and Patreon, especially Patreon. We do some Twin Peaks watch parties, esoteric book reviews. Nick comes and hangs out for those now. You may see
definitely check it out. Definitely.
So yeah,
I would say it's worth the money. So
thanks for inviting me on again.
Of course, always love having you here, my man. Thank you.
And it's good seeing all of you guys, man. Happy Frigg's Day, guys. It's gonna be a banger of a show.
Awesome. Yes. And we got Tyrone. What is up, my man? Always a pleasure having you here.
What's up, everybody? Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. Hey, Ethan, you already know I'm ready, man. I got your book right here on my Kindle, bro. And I have plenty of tabs on here, so you already know. Everything you can find about me is on my website, rebirthoftheword.com. I love reading. I love having discussions with authors, especially since I've read their book. It's a more personal with me because now I get to ask them for things for clarification's sake. So, of course, this is time for me to ask some of those questions. So, hey, I appreciate it. Rebirthoftheword.com.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for joining us, Ron. And we got the man himself, Mr. Ethan Indigo. What is going on, sir? How are you?
Well, I bow to all of you. Thank you so much for the inclusion and support. I really appreciate it. I'm on all the usual social media, writing articles frequently, and easily I'll have to fix that tabulation, I guess. Easy to find on all the social media. And the Fourth Initiation really came about from my obsession with what I call the duality of polarity, or you could just say four. And I explored really a whole philosophical outlook, kind of universalism, bringing together different sources of more or less the same principles or different takes on the same principle of this duality of polarity in the Matrix of Four. And as time went on, I realized that there was a whole other really, the Matrix of Four is accused of being esoteric in one sense, but there was a whole other esoteric level to this duality of polarity. And so the Fourth Initiation, there is no prior three. The Fourth Initiation is essentially where I explored the esoteric and the exoteric understandings of different teachings. And this is a significant polarity when we look at any allegory or so on and so forth. Another polarity that is in the world we live, not necessarily within the interpretation, but is kind of put forth in a lot of different ways, is the basic and the capital, or the base and the capital, if you think about a pole, or the basic and the enlightened, if you will. And a lot of societal interpretations are kind of on the gross side of the polarity. So let's go to the images, and I'll start to tell kind of the little story. And you guys, if you have anything to say, please go ahead.
Oh, sure, of course. All right.
So for me, the idea around this duality of polarity or four began in a very exoteric manner. And is that oh, I wonder, I guess the images aren't coming through.
Oh, yeah. You would have to actually open up the image probably and then choose that as the window to share.
Shoot, my bust.
It's all right. It's okay.
Well, I'll just read this as I try to export a few of these. So I wrote the Complete Patriot's Guide to Oligarchical Collectivism, and I conceptualized that there's 4 types of mind states. Idiots avoid all new pertinent information. Zealots ask only certain questions of certain information. Elitists question information in order to manipulate and reap gains off the information. And patriots question information to share with others and benefit progress, initiate progress, if you will. And so this is kind of a really exoteric, simple kind of way of understanding things. And as I was exploring that book, I realized that there were all sorts of different aspects or sets of 4 where there's over 3 and a unsaid 4th, right? And one of the powerful ones that I used, I think, is the 4 wise monkeys. And that is usually considered to be the 3 wise monkeys, more widely known as the 3 wise monkeys. But there's actually 4. There's see no evil, which is kind of like the idiot that I put forth there. There's hear no evil, which is kind of like the zealot. There's speak no evil, which is very much like the elitists. And there is fear no evil or do no evil. And this monkey holds his abdomen, right? And he's unmoved and he's unafraid, right? So this also has a whole esoteric construct to it, and not just the exoteric as well. Very, very prominent in Buddhism. This next one is from the Allegory of the Cave, in which most people point out that there's 3 character types in the Allegory of the Cave. The prisoners, the captors, and the freed prisoner. But there's actually, excuse me, 2 different types of prisoners. There's the chained and the unchained, right? And this is very much like the idiots and the zealots, right? The zealots don't need to be chained because it's they're so entangled by the images. And so as I began exploring things further, there's this whole kind of system of understanding that really I put forth in the Matrix of Four as 4 parts of 4 aspects. In other words, each of these 4 aspects has 4 parts, excuse my redundancy. And the first one I use is arithmetic. And this is one that is absolute. There was a time period where people were obsessed, where mathematicians were obsessed with looking for a 5th operation of arithmetic, and there really are none. All of mathematics goes upon the 4 operations of arithmetic, and certainly in a very duality of polarity modality. And I call that the 4 aspects of the mental, right? The 4 absolutes of the mental. There's also the breath is the one I use for the physical. We can go to that, Nick. The breath is an absolute, not all life, but it's pretty much an absolute for breathing life, that there is an inhalation and a pause full, an exhalation and a pause empty. This is kind of a meditation technique to accentuate and be mindful of the pauses as well as the inhalation and exhalation. And our breath, which I use as the absolute of physical as opposed to mental of arithmetic, functions just like this yin-yang depiction of orbits. All objects in orbit of one another all around the universe, we can pretty much presume that's like a big absolute. It may not be true everywhere in the universe, for it is a big place, but everywhere where there's objects in orbit, there are 4 seasons. There's the duality of polarity of equinoxes and solstices. And so,
hey, Ethan, I got a quick question. Is do you believe the number 4 and all of these polarities are a type of transcendence from merely the physical realm?
I do believe that there is an aspect of understanding the physical realm towards being an empowered being in this realm. And there's also the meditative and initiatory aspects for certain. And actually, that was funny you should mention that, Headless, because that's really kind of the next idea where I'm going. What I use for the absolute of orbit is clear. All objects are in orbit. The next image, Nick, is the Om symbol. And this is one of the oldest symbols on the planet, and it is in 4 parts, and it is described in a duality of polarity, and one can conceptualize it as a depiction of consciousness for the material world, and also a initiatory device for self-development and enlightenment. Here we see on the left there that backwards, what looks like the 3 actually contains 2 parts, right? And I was going to say go to the next image, but I need to do that. So there's the duality of polarity of the Om symbol, and the highest level is called Turiya, which simply means the 4th. So there's deep sleep and deep awakening, and then there's deep dreaming, and there's the Turiya, the absolute, deep awakening, right? And the point is the Turiya. The line underneath that is the Sea of Mara, or the barrier, or whatever, that is virtually impossible to cross this chasm from the 3rd state to the 4th state, but it is possible. but it takes a lot of dedication. So yeah.
Ethan, do you know how deeply Proto-Indo-European that symbol feels to me?
Yeah.
Think about that as a mountain, right? All of these Proto-Indo-European religions have a mountain, and what you're talking about is the different levels in the sky god realm, right? So you've got the Olympians at the absolute, you've got Turiya as being like the Saturnian character, Deep Sleep as the Titans, and then further down into number 3, which is dreaming, which would be our level, our contact with the gods, and then wakefulness, where we live on a conscious level. And that sort of makes up like Mount Ida, right? All of these different mountains represent sort of like a stairway to heaven. Mount Olympus, all of these ideas have to do with that sort of pyramidal figure, and you kind of get that idea with this symbol as well, which represents a lot of what Proto-Indo-European shamanism was all about.
I believe there's many tales about this symbol actually being derived from Mount Kailash. In certain different snow melts, you can see, one can make out an Om symbol in Mount Kailash, which if people don't know, it's the most sacred mountain
sacred mountain of all of India. Exactly.
In all of that, the mountainous region there, it's not Everest, it's Kailash.
Yeah, you put the two concepts together and you get really a kind of a Kabbalah tree.
Right. Yeah. Well, this has the dual polarity of the trees.
Yeah. Yeah. The tree's got the polarity to begin with. Yeah.
Wow.
It's based on it.
It's the duality of polarity right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you have the checkerboard floors, for the duality.
Boom.
So is mathematics too, right? It's the duality of polarity, which that's not esoteric. It's just like the way that we learn how to do things with a thing that we've learned, right? Mathematics is like totally esoteric because we use this set of ideas to formulate and process all kinds of stuff.
Ethan, tell me about what the video I showed you about the Lithuanians and the Sanskrit words.
Right. Well, that's a whole rabbit hole. Really cool how that goes down. And 4 has this whole comparative unifying aspect to it too, in its simplicity that there's only 4. But that was mind blowing to hear all those words being virtually the same as all these ideas that we're exploring here. They're from all these different places and times, but they're really kind of the duality of polarity.
Yeah.
Right.
Does
How
that
old
not
is
look
the
like?
symbol?
Oh, sorry.
This symbol, this symbol is the oldest symbol on the planet. So, and it was the it is so old that it precedes the language, and so you don't write out Om. You put this symbol. Oh, and it's a 4-part enunciation as well. 3 that are overt and 1 that is silence. Silence being counted and super important, as we'll see. AUM obviously are the 3 vocalizations. But this is the type of symbol that is used for an exoteric philosophical outlook and also very deep internal esoteric development, right? And there are
the above and the below.
Yeah, so this represents so much that we're only scanning the topical here. But it's important to note, right, that it has that esoteric and exoteric idea behind it. Let's go to the next one. I think it's some writing. Okay, this is a really important thing that is not too well known, I've found. The ancient Egyptians conceptualized of course, what we commonly know is the Doat or the Turiya. Zindra asked the question, what does Turiya mean? It literally means the fourth. So, but it signifies the most enlightened aspect of consciousness. So, I mean, this is not a coincidence, I don't think. The ancient Egyptians as well, they of course have the main polarity of the living and the dead, right? But they also have the polarity of the living and the gods. And there's 3 dimensions. The 4th dimension is for those that have transcended, for the few human beings that have become godly. And so there was this space within their kind of idea of creation. Let's see. So the next one, I was describing this symbol recently. Got an article on occultrejects.org. Occult Rejects Institute. One of my brain frying right now.
occultresearchinstitute.org.
Research.
Thank you,
Research
sir.
Institute.
I appreciate you. Put the article on there. That's good enough. You're good.
Yeah. Sorry, excuse my brain fry. I have a decent article on there about the circumpunct. Nick, the next picture is of the circumpunct with the twin pillars. And the circumpunct is essentially 3 parts that makes a new 4th thing. One could extrapolate, but you have the point, and you have the space, and you have the ring. Those are the overt 3. And to each side, often depicted in Freemasonic imagery, to each side is the duality of polarity. And it's almost as if you have a 3 and a 2 and a 2. And so I was conceptualizing this, and it came to me one time that this seems like an important thing. The Trinity and the polarity are really kind of one of these symbols that might have a perverse and an enlightened aspect to it. And I'm reminded, yeah.
Ethan, have you ever seen Green Lantern comics?
Of course, yeah. Break it down. What am I forgetting?
Well, if you turn that symbol sideways,
oh, duh, right, it's it.
Symbol.
Right.
Right. So you've got the green and the gold, and it kind of makes the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 5th level is sort of like the heart chakra, which is the Tifereth, which is kind of green and gold, and like their enemies are the yellow lanterns, right? And so they're fighting against them. So it's the green versus the yellow, and you've got that whole sort of Tiferetic feel to anything you imagine, anything you can feel, you can actually create with the Green Lantern. It's like manifesting.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like the circumpunct kind of, when you focus on it just in your mind's eye, it really has a concentration modality for one. So it really, I think, does help accomplish. But I think the understanding of the duality of polarity really helps accomplish. One being a set of mercy and one being a set of severity, but the point being that you create and destroy, either in severe or merciful terms. Mostly nowadays, we're only in the severity. And in fact, we did a great program on Yahweh and Asherah. They're a total duality of polarity unto themselves, that we only have Yahweh now, who's the storm god, obviously related to severity, creation, destruction through severity, where Asha was creation, destruction through mercy. And then in the center, you have the Trinity, or the thrice great of the initiate. So let's go to the next one. which it's kind of saying the same thing, but 322 is this Americana kind of lore. Nick, you want to go to the next one? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was like adjusting my seat.
322 is also in Genesis. It has a polarity in it, right? And insinuates even two polarities because of the life and death and good and evil. So there's two powerful polarities that are really, primary. And of course, they're talking about the tree right there too. What is the tree? Two polarities.
That's
If you
funny.
multiply it,
That looks like the
12,
skulls and bones to me. What you talking about?
That is the skull and bones. Yes, that is the skull and bones. And my point in bringing them up is not that they're correct, not that they're on it. I'm saying that they're using symbolism to whatever they might be symbolizing it for. I'm not sure, but I think that for me, when I see the 322, I no longer see 322. I see Trinity, polarity. And
now I learned something.
you've also got
polarity.
You've also got multiplication. So if you multiply them, like the two bones make an X, you get 12, which is like the 12 signs of the zodiac. It's like they're making a perverse symbol for the zodiac.
That's what they're doing. They're using symbolism in a perverse and basic manner, right? That whole idea where you can use it in esoteric and exoteric and basic and enlightened, right? And they're using it probably for very basic, gross means.
It seems like in
some stuff that's meant to be just like for the esoteric, they try to take that and make it for the exoteric, and it completely subverts it, right? It completely destroys what it meant to be.
Oh, yeah.
Original.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I think
it seems like an alchemy symbol.
well, the esoteric gets
it's
considered
a lot,
the stuff that comes like kind of everybody understands somehow becomes like, oh, that's all there is to it. That's the deepest shit, and we all know. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that happens, I think, a lot.
Right.
So just an interesting phenomena that relates to this idea of the thrice great, the initiated, being in control of this duality of polarity. And I'm not advocating them. I'm trying to pierce the veil of what they might be using. Not that they've figured it out. They're using it potentially, if that has anything to do with the interpretations.
I think that verse is the most powerful one in the Bible. That sets the tone for the rest of the book.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's at the point where it's like, you're fucked, right?
It's the cosmological tone, and different religious and cosmological constructs have this same four mannerism often of the good and evil, or often masculine and feminine as Adam and Eve, and life and death. Most cosmologies begin with these two polarities that are like the most powerful considerations there are among time, right?
You've got a dual polarity right there in that image.
Yeah, there's the cross. And that's a mathematical rule that two lines intersecting create four corners. So every cross, mathematically, it's two lines intersecting. However elaborate it gets, it creates the four. All right, so the next one is just me trying to be funny, little memeology. And Carl Jung was fascinated with this idea. And many times in his writing and in his speeches, he mentioned that there's three, but where's the fourth? And actually, in the free introduction on Amazon of my book, The Fourth Initiation, one of the first things I explore is the Bardo Todo, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is itself a very esoteric idea.
Very fascinating book.
Super fascinating. One of the dopest things Carl Jung pointed out about it is that, of course, on the exoteric, on the primary level of this great teaching, is that it is elaborating on the time between death and rebirth. But if you read it backwards, Carl Jung noted out, from last chapter on to the second to last chapter and so on to the first chapter, so that it is last, it is a story from birth to death. So it's yeah.
Speaking of story, every story arc takes place in 4 acts.
Really?
So that 4th act is always
Aren't
sort of
songs
like a
written that way
conclusion.
too?
Yep, 4/4.
Yeah, man.
Look at
Wow.
that.
I would go even deeper to say that the whole Bible is, in fact, not just the 4 Gospels, but the whole Christ story is a set of 4, and possibly even directly related to Hinduism traditions. But there's the birth, life, death, and resurrection. And in our lifetimes, we go through this in a symbolic way many different times. And of course, the exoteric and perverse mannerism would be, taking it into different manners. But this is the story of the Bible, one of resurrection. That's the 4th element. That's the silent part that is, so valuable.
That's why
So,
it's
yeah.
so attractive to so many people, because it provides that 4th step.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So the next, let's see. So this one is a elaboration of the symbol with the yin and yang and the 4 humors. The four humors were a Greek system of understanding what is, one could say, very similar, if not exactly the same, as one of the yin yang diagnosis practices of traditional Chinese medicine, right? So very similar, these ancient practices. And you have the 4 colors of alchemy.
Oh yeah.
And in the phlegm and yellow bile and black bile and blood, right? So when they say that there's 4 types of people, or that there's 4 types of problems, well, what are they talking about exactly, right? Because the American Indians have a similar color construct in their symbolism.
Oh, the medicine wheel
Sacred
too.
wheel.
The medicine wheel, yeah.
And medicine. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to take this image and look into the elementals with it now too, because the 4 elementals, tie into almost everything when you look at it. Being like the, what is it? The astral fire, the ethereal water, the physical earth, and the mental air, right?
Yeah, and there's that's become one of my favorite words, elements, because it's so esoteric, but it's often considered very primary and physical, but it actually says godly mind. I think it says godly mind, but it literally says God mind, right? Element is God mind. So alchemy is very much associated with the physical development of chemical systems and so forth, and God mind, right? Becoming the internal exoteric self-development. And my next picture is actually of the 4 elements, but the 4 elements of the Philosopher's Stone, right? Which brings together exactly what Jules just talked about. There's the 4 elements of the Philosopher's Stone. Why is there 4 elements? Because of obviously the 4 elements that we just spoke of, but also the 4 elements that are at the basis of almost everything. If we're looking at things through that veil. It's not the only way to look at things, but it's a powerful way to start to look at things. And the next,
you kind of have a reflection of both the 3 and the 5 within the image. So the 3 and the 4 creates the 12, right? And when you're talking about the 5 and the 4, you're talking about fractals, right? So you've got the 5th element, which is all these different fractals coming off, which you could do within the next circle or the next circle out, right? So each one of these circles is equidistant, and that creates another fractaline creation from the symbol itself. So you've got 5 and the 3, which, you know, Philosopher's Stone incorporates both of these numbers very heavily.
Yeah, and then I was going to point out, you have the feminine inside of the masculine, and then the masculine inside of the feminine. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
No, that's perfect.
I've noticed that a lot with a lot of these symbols. And you were talking about the polarity stuff earlier, you know, the kind of dualistic aspect to it.
Just real quick, I was just even thinking how you kind of like said that you're seeing repeating. I wonder if that even goes with like the Yadhe Vadhe formula, because you know that's 4 again, but that is that coming up. You know, king, queen, prince, and princess. So you would see like male, female, repeat that way,
right?
So I'm wondering like if there's like something to like what you were saying here. I wonder if there's some shit.
And I was also thinking, as he was talking about like 4 stages to like some kind of piece of art, right? There's also 4 stages to life in a way.
Well, tetragrammaton just means fourfold name, right? So they're talking about these different letters within that. So tetragrammaton and the tetragrammaton formula, you know, is that generation. Go ahead, Jules.
Oh, no. I was just pointing that out. You kind of have like you're young, like from when you were born up until you become a young adult, that to when you're like, you know, in your 40s or 50s, like your early 50s, maybe that until your late age. And then, you know, because we're supposed to live for longer up until probably a little past 100. Just like if we were to live healthily, like if we were to live a healthier lifestyle and, you know, be able to stay away from all this shit that the government puts in the air and in the food and in the water and all that, we'd probably be able to live a little longer, right? So,
definitely.
Maybe I'm off on that. Maybe there's more than 4 stages to life, but I'm thinking like in a long span kind of.
Yeah,
time.
no, it's the primary. And then, of course, there could be several different other facets as things go on, and you could recognize, but it is considered the primary. American Indians from the Hindus, notice the 4 stages of life. And here's another depiction of the 4 elements. Again, one of my favorite words, because it denotes that alchemy of becoming the God mind. So yeah, and the next one, I Nick just took off, but this also we can see a duality of polarity, obvious, right? I mean, that's a easy note there.
When it all comes together, you have as above, so below. You get all the figures combined.
Absolutely. And again, your masculine and feminine triangles, right?
Projective, receptive.
And one thing I like to do just as a kind of mental exercise is find contrasts. So if these shapes are depicting an idea, it is a wonderful format to just form contrasts. But usually people only go to an either or contrast, and that's very limiting. You know, if you have the A and B, that's the either or, but you have to have the AB too, the synthesis and the nullisis is the term that I came up with. And, you know, to that, there's the whole idea of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis related to cause what is the three I'm thinking of, where they steer decision making, right? The Hegelian dialectic is from this thesis.
Reaction solution.
Problem, reaction, solution is from this philosophical outlook of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. The solution often is pointed out as they already had it planned, right? And the next one of my favorite sets of four is geometry, and I feel like this is really not only valuable in understanding things, but it is really the basis for the biblical God, as we'll see. Nick, go to the next one. And here's Yahweh. Excuse me. Here is Yod He Yahweh, right? And the Yod, it literally is the point. The four dimensions of geometry begins with the point. The next is a window and behold. So a window, it implies a view, and it is very much like a plane of glass, but it also, there's a room. So they're using the same word here to symbolize, I think, plane and volume. And the Vav, again, it literally means peg or connector or nail. It is the line. So the whole Bible at its basis, when they talk about the G and generation and geometry, it's the four dimensions of geometry. It's right there. So the next one.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say real quick, Ethan? You might have been, I think you had the screen off. I don't know if you could still hear. Did you hear what I said about the Yahweh Vadhe before?
Yeah, you were getting at that. What repeat it?
Jules had mentioned before how, like, sometimes, and he's right, you'll see like kind of like male, female, like symbolism within each other, you know, and going back and forth. And I said, I wonder if that could maybe be even represented in the Yahweh Vadhe formula, or if there is like the same idea behind that. Because if you think about it, magically, if I was using it like, you know, in ceremonial magic, that would be, you know, the king, queen, prince, and princess. So I mean, you're getting, you know, male, female, female again.
And that's funny that you would see this with the name of a deity, right? Because same thing happens with same thing happens, I'm pretty sure, with Lucifer. Trying to remember, I think the Greeks maybe worship Lucifer as Mars, right, Headless?
Well, the Greeks thought of Lucifer
as Mars. Sorry,
son of Eos. Eos is the titan of the dawn, and so Eosphorus is what they called Lucifer,
which is where phosphorus comes from.
It's the Latin for Eosphorus. So in Latin,
Eosphorus. Okay.
Yeah. In Latin, his mother would be called Aurora, like Aurora, Colorado.
Okay.
Ooh.
But think about this as if it's hieroglyphs, right? You have the father above, you have the daughter with the hair coming down, or the window with the light shining in. Then you have the son as the generation below, and then you have the daughter with the hair coming down, you know, sort of like the vision of the mother.
Yeah.
You've almost got the hieroglyphs for those four different parts of the tarot.
Yeah.
I was just going to say they represent him as Mars because of the red glow that Mars gives off.
Right. And then also there's a feminine aspect being Venus, right?
Yep.
So
Yep,
I think it's like that with maybe all the planets. I don't know. Maybe a few.
Well,
you can probably find bits and pieces of it in everything.
I think they all have the same aspect. They'll both have male and female too, or positive and negative.
Interesting. Oh, what was that?
Positive and negative. That's
Venus specifically. You've got Venus and Adonis, right? You've got the idea of these dying and rising figures being associated with this planet of Venus, which is this morning star and evening star. One third of the year it's in the morning, and 1/3 of the year it's in the evening. So having the Venus connection, which creates a big flower of life in the sky, it's sort of like the completion of 4, which would be the 5.
Wow.
Yeah, and I always, I've started to think about the Tetragrammaton as being kind of a secret that is overtly right in front of our face, because the pentagram, we know that that means 5 count shape, right? But tetragram, that would be a 4 count shape, but it's not tetragram, it's tetragrammaton. And so that suffix is Asian. It's similar to shun, Tion in English, or Latin even, variously. But I think it means grammar, grammation, right? So this whole idea of the what is tetragrammaton? When you look it up in the Bible, tetragrammaton is L. What is L? L is God. And so tetragrammaton is literally saying that it's a 4 grammar of understanding God in a way, you know.
Oh, you even go back to the Yad Vadhe.
What were you saying about 5 though?
5, I think, is really important, and I think East and West, one thing that is shared with the 5 is motion. It puts these base pillars into motion. So you could think about 5 as being the activation, actually very much like our hands, right? We have 4 fingers, but what makes it work is the 5th.
Well, right. No, that's what I was going to say. You have your 4 fingers and then your thumb, which is your Godhead, right? Yeah, same thing with the what's it called? The Vitruvian Man or whatever. You have the 5 points, but then with like the crucified man, you have 4, right? So I don't know. I don't know if there's something to that.
No, you just struck my curiosity on that, because I love The Simpsons. I've been watching The Simpsons since I was a little kid, since they first came out, right? And if you remember, they had 4 fingers, right? And God, when God was shown in The Simpsons, he had what we would call normal 4 fingers and a thumb. Remember?
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
You know what everybody says about Matt Groening too, so.
Well, yeah, they were messing with dimensions, weren't they? That's what they're kind of telling you with the.
They actually had it. They actually had a show on that too.
They had a bunch of shows on that.
Well, The Simpsons has predicted how much shit that's happened. Like they definitely have some form of, like, I don't know, some kind of loophole or portal looking into the future. Like I don't care.
Think about all the tree houses of horror.
I'm fucking convinced now, dude. Like,
yeah,
think about all the tree houses of horror.
Yo, I have brought that up before, Jules. That's like, I've seen The Simpsons do that so much, you have to start questioning how. You know what I'm saying? Like how are they? Like, I know it is kind of interesting and like, wow, like that's pretty cool. Like, they called it out, but it's like, well, how the fuck are you doing that?
Yeah,
it is fucking weird, man.
Project Looking Glass.
Yeah.
What they say it was. I don't know, man. I think this kind of stuff has been around a lot longer than we know, or than we're told. Through many ways, scrying or however.
Magic.
Portals.
Think about how archetypal the show is. All the different elements of that show are like archetypal of different factions within society. So they're making statements about all of these different relationships that have to do with how we see each other and, sort of like stereotypes. And they were able to do that because it wasn't as woke back then. But in doing so, it made these relationships that sort of stick in our minds when it comes to relationships with other people. You can kind of steer people around through their behaviors a little bit, I think.
Now, what does this represent, Ethan? Because this is the alchemical colors all over again.
Yes, this is an American Indian medicine wheel,
Ah.
and it represents the four brothers of man: white, black, red, and yellow skinned people. And their idea is that these people all come together and bring out the one idea in a unified manner. Each one has a different aspect of the story that, when brought together, they get the whole story, right? And the four directions, the four peoples, the four is widely significant among the American Indian people, especially in the Southwest.
You know,
Okay.
one thing I've noticed with Native American symbolism too, you see it popping up in occultism that came over from like Europe, but like symbolism here. So that's kind of interesting. I have seen that happen. Like certain occult orders are actually like
Like,
using.
who did they learn it from? You
Yeah.
know, like did they learn it from some ancient occult order that was there long before we were told the first people came over and found America?
Oh, like
I think it's.
Go ahead.
No, I just was going to say I think it's possible. Please go ahead, Nick.
Like an example is Denning and Phillips. I don't remember their first name. They have like some book set on magic. I mean, I didn't know until I think I had Thrash on when he covered like the Micmacs. The star is, or the symbol they have on the front of their cover is their medicine wheel, but it just looks different than normal people. I mean, that's different than normal ones. So, like, you kind of thought it was like some just, fancy 8-pointed star. And then I was like, oh, they're actually just ripping off a fucking Native American symbol. And they put it on the front of their magic book. So shit like that. Somebody doesn't even know what that is. They just take for granted it's some, ceremonial magic symbol. I was like,
Well, it's like, it's kind of like that with the swastika, right?
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Like more of an ancient symbol than a lot of people even know. Like they're not even aware of that. And how many civilizations and cultures have used that symbol? Maybe Headless knows where it actually came from originally. I don't really know.
It's ubiquitous across 5 continents.
Right.
During a certain time period in prehistory, you've got that symbol as being ubiquitous across 5 continents. If that doesn't mean people were connected, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah.
Well, here's
something going on with that symbol.
This is used often as a calendar, right? Medicine wheel would be used as a calendar system overtly, ceremoniously, probably different ways too. Here is what I think a significant set of 4 pertaining to all the megalithic constructions on the planet. They are all markers of day, year, and direction and celestial connection.
Dude. Hold on. Speaking of, we're just talking about Germany. These are the colors for the German flag.
Yes,
I just
sir.
realized that. Weird synchronicity. Sorry.
Proto-Indo-European.
Well, they were very much the alchemists back in the day.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey.
Albedo, Negrito, Rubido, and I forgot what the yellow one was. Do you know what that is in Latin?
I forget right now.
Yeah. God damn, you put us all on the spot. Fuck.
I gotta look into that now. I'm sorry, guys.
Every
I killed the
occultist
show.
This is a wonderful aspect of what this medicine wheel represents, where all these ideas come together and they get the full story rather than just the aspects that they've been holding on to.
Right.
For the symbol of 4 really has that too, right? And let's go to the next one, because each of these we could spend a lot of time on. And find that there's the exoteric philosophical aspect and the esoteric initiatory aspect too, even of the medicine wheel. One of the most esoteric games that is probably
Definitely
has the most esoteric fans is baseball, and we can see that there is a compass and square set up on the field. right? The reason it is baseball is not because of the bases, it's because 4 is base. Your base set of thinking is 4.
You just blew my fucking mind, Ethan.
Well, there's a really dope article where I get into this on the occultresearchinstitute.org. So check it.
Check it out.
But again, this is just, I wouldn't say it's necessarily perverse in a damned way, but it's a perverse presentation of highly esoteric ritual.
Are all sports like this?
Well, you can find different aspects of it, but none like baseball.
Dude,
none like baseball.
That's probably one of the oldest ones, right? That's
I got it, guys.
It is out of England, and it's developed over many years into what it is now. It used to be different, and it's modified. So
dude, look at the angels in the outfield. That is awesome. Literally angels in the outfield. Wow, that movie title has such an esoteric meaning to it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yo, that is bugged out, right, dude?
Yeah, that's weird, man.
They're trying to tell us through movies. They're entertained because they know what the movies and the symbolism within the movies mean. We over here figuring it out 20, 30 years later.
We just figured it out. And homeboy Christopher Lloyd is already dead. R.I.P.
Field of Dreams, dude. Think about all of the guys who came out of the cornfield onto the field from the outfield. That's so Field of Dreams right there.
Yeah, it's the Children of the Corn right there.
Dude,
yeah. So baseball is it's the American pastime, but it's the American esoteric pastime, certainly, right?
Start going to baseball.
And it even has the geometry. You could look at it symbolically as the ball being the point, the line. The bat being the line, and you have the plane. And what do they call where the pitchers stand on? Headless?
The mound, baby.
Mound.
Where did it come from? It came from the Theosophists.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Because the
final version of it was basically developed from Theosophist crew and a president of the Theosophy at one time. Yes. Although it's much older than that, but not in its current modification.
Do you know what they should bring back? Roman gladiators, but American gladiators, but like real fucking blood sports, like lions.
Baseball used to be a bit more like that. Like that, you'd get tackled. Like
bring back animals.
Get the shit beat out of you with a bat or something.
Yeah, it used to be a bit more.
They should do that.
Yeah, right. That's what you give people who got like life. I mean, not life, death sentence. Just fucking. There you go.
They called it baseball for a reason.
That was a banger, bro.
So yeah, remember we got the compass and square right there. Everyone can see, right? And we remarked earlier, where is the origination of some of these symbols? Like we see them so widely used, right? Like the Freemasons copped on to the compass and square. Was it not used before them? Certainly it was. Like no megalithic site was built without a compass and square, right? So we can move on, but just a powerful anecdotal view of how they'll use these ideas in an exoteric manner. Here is Patanjali, and Patanjali is a Thoth entity from India, and that is noted to be the creator of yoga, and specifically the 8 limbs of yoga. And he has a snake body. And I relate him to that Thoth energy of the great teacher, mainly because of actually the 8 limbs of yoga. Nick, we can go to the next one.
That's interesting. You kind of linked it to that entity. I found him to be more similar to Vishwakarma. But that's a
I think with especially the Hindu set of gods, the Hindu pantheon, which is so wide and diverse.
It's crazy, bro.
I think that there can be attributes of Thoth, for instance, in many different gods. In fact, Ganesha, I believe, has a lot of Thoth qualities too.
That's funny you said that, because I had him down. I have my little list. I have him down right next to that other name. So now I'll add the name that you just.
What about the tarot? What about the tarot? That looked like the universe card, with the snake around the outside of it. That had total tarot vibes for me, at least from the Crowley tarot. And that whole idea goes back. What's that constellation with the guy who's holding the snake? Ophiuchus, right? Ophiuchus is the 13th constellation that goes along with a lunar calendar. So Ophiuchus is like the 13th moon or the 13th month, and it's sort of like above all the rest of the other constellations.
One thing I discovered about the tarot that I haven't seen others put forth, and I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't been put forth before I noted it, but there's the 4 suits of the tarot. Of course, there's many, all these 4s everywhere, right? But the 4 suits of the tarot actually completely correspond with the 4 dimensions of geometry. The point for the sword, the line for the staff, the plane is the coin, and the volume is the cup. I mean, it's literally a sacred geometry divination tool. So Patanjali presented the 8 limbs of yoga, which are a whole system of self-development, right? It's not necessarily limited to posture, but also self-development in these ideations. And the next one, Nick, is the Ogdoad. And Thoth is associated with, well, there's the 8 again, but specifically with this 8, it's actually more 4 pair, which little difference, right? But these are 4 couples, right? For complementary husband and wife type of couples. And these are the 8 elements of, or the 8 primary gods of ancient Egyptian cosmology, right? And they are, again, the 4 pair ruled by Thoth. Thoth got renamed Hermes. Why? Because the town where Thoth was mainly worshipped was also the town where this Ogdoad, which is also a Greek word, and I believe they're called the Kamenu, and so the town was the Kamenu. Forgive my poor pronunciation, but something along this line. That was Thoth town, basically, got renamed to Hermopolis, Hermes and Hermopolis. The modern Hermopolis was Thoth and Ogdoad town, basically, or really 8 town is what it literally meant. The next one is an interesting, and again, I think it's kind of like one of these teachings that bring together and highlight other teachings from different places. This is attributed to Fuzi. And for those who don't know Fuzi, just wait, because you're gonna enjoy this. But this is really from the nothingness is the initial polarity. From that is the secondary polarity, and then the 8. Again, the Chinese system has the 2, 4, and 8 idea to it too. Same with the Egyptian construct is, it's got its 8 elements. The Chinese divination system has the yin and yang, and secondarily after that, the minor and major yin and yang, and then the Bagua, which means the 8. And we can go to the next one.
Well, with the Egyptian system,
Well,
the
please, yeah.
The Ogdad is a primordial group of gods, so they're like the Titans versus the Olympians, which would be the next generation. So there's kind of a crossover between this sort of separation from heaven and earth, having to do with the Ogdad, and also magic being chaos. For all of the Middle Ages, magic was order. But once we got into the 20th century with chaos magic, then magic became chaos again. So it almost represents like a shifting back to a more primordial view of magic than what was existing in the Victorian and Middle Ages era. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and it's amazing that that the Egyptians and the Chinese had this 8 elemental primary aspect, right? Quite fascinating.
Okay. You need me to move on?
Yeah, before we move off of Hermes, I was going to say you see the same thing with the name Hermod in Norse, I think Norse mythology, right? He was the messenger of the gods. I don't know if there's anything with the number 4 there. Maybe we can look at that later. Forgot about that guy.
So this is the Ark of Ra. They actually found a boat at the base of the Great Pyramid, and it is a replica of the boat that is supposed to take one across the Nile from the land of the living to the land of the dead. And again, we see one of the main characters of most well-known of the set of 8, because the Ogdoad, it's really hard to find concrete information on them. But Nut is the primordial waters. That's one of the better known ones. And we see her carrying the boat. Well, in the biblical story of Noah, we have Noah and his 3 sons and their wives, which is 8 again. But if we look at the boat here, if you can see clearly the 7. The beetle, I think, is more to do with Ra, and the sun above more imposed there. But you see the 4 in the front, the 3 in the back, and then if you look really subtly, there's a snake in the boat too, there behind the 3rd there on the left. So there's actually 8 there.
I see him.
Doesn't the scarab beetle like shed its shell?
What it's most well known for is rolling a ball of manure downhill, and it becomes kind of this symbolism for the sun and immortality by way of what its behavior.
Another with Osiris with all that symbolism as well.
And Osiris is the agricultural reborn god, right? And there's that rebirth, right? I think I've seen this in a lot of, this is a cultural thing, not necessarily philosophical, but it's interesting. Talk about exoteric perversions of highly esoteric ideas. The zombie movies will inevitably have some agricultural swamp thing or this and that. And a ball rolling around. I've seen several times. If you know Egyptian rebirth stories and you watch can be like super cheesy zombie movies, they've actually integrated some of the symbolism of that. Interesting idea anyway.
Well, I just wanted to throw in too about Nut. She was supposed to be the night sky, right? And so the night sky holding up this plane of heaven almost implies that this is the solar system, right? With the sun at the middle of all of these 7 planets.
Yeah.
right? And you've got this sort of APEP character, which is a massive asteroid in our solar system as well, that also exists as a serpent of chaos.
Yeah.
And so if you take this as a direct sort of metaphor for our solar system, you actually get a really good view of it. And if you think about it, the beetle could be considered Earth, right?
Hey,
Earth is sort of enlivening the sun and making it move and everything else.
yeah. Yeah, I think you got something there. Is Apep the same snake at the bottom of Yggdrasil?
There's a lot of similarities, and there are so many snakes. If you go back to Greek
Yeah.
mythology,
I figured that he may have been like, I don't know.
the Orphic egg is surrounded by the snake, and then it explodes, and then everything comes out into form. That's the very first god.
Order out of chaos.
Is Protagonist, right?
Yeah.
You know, I just want to. And Liberash Crowley made that. He wrote that one, and that's like 4 different times of the day you'll do a prayer to the sun, and the one that faces north, which would be Earth. You got Kefra, the beetle, that you're praying to. So, like you said, Headless, even that could be associated with Earth. It's even kind of associated with Earth right there. Just wanted to throw that in. That's all.
No, that's great. The set of the Agdoad, the 8 or 4 pairs of Egyptian primary gods, they are snake-headed and toad-headed. And if we could imagine the Nile thousands of years ago, it was probably just so full of life becoming and going. So this idea, I think, comes from not that there were snake-headed beings, that snakes and toads were in the creation of itself, the life dependency flow of the waters, right? But here's another the next one, Nick, or Headless, did you say?
I was just going to say, maybe it goes back to the Om symbol, right? So if you take the Om symbol as the symbolic cosmology that they're working off of, like these different levels of consciousness, then all of this kind of fits into that level as well. So like astral projection, thinking about forms and meditation and separation from the senses, you kind of get these different images that are translated differently, but on the same level in different languages, right? They're interacting with the same kind of forms and translating it based off of the surrounding culture.
And it reminds me that the Hindus had the Nagas, who are their ancient snake-bodied reptilian teachers, right?
Exactly.
And the next one is,
I think they're called the Neteru. I'm pretty sure. In certain, I mean, you see them in every culture almost.
And almost every esoteric cosmological thing, there's a snake. Sometimes taking knowledge, sometimes giving it.
I did want to point out this boat with the sun that the beetle is holding up looks just like the almost crescent moon thing at the top of the Om with the sun above it as well.
Oh yeah, especially
when you go back to the
on the left.
Fast, Nick.
Yo, it's interesting that even that prayer I mentioned, you're praying to the barge in the sky.
Boom.
And of course the dot, the circle right there, there's your point related to the Om symbol.
Nick, does that remind you of an eye in any way?
Oh, I don't know. This one now, not offhand. No. I have to probably yeah.
There is so much content just by using the Om symbol, breaking it down into its symbolic meaning, and then looking at everything around it, because it's almost like that's the seed, and all of this stuff is the foliage that grew out of it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. There, the way that the I Ching goes is very much in like that yin yang process that was just described. That there's the Wuji, the nothingness, and then the main polarity, and so on and so forth until they get to the 8 elements. And the 8 elements are multiplied 8 times 8, and then you have your 64 divination types of the I Ching, right? Which is it's really interesting. Here we have Fuzi and his counterpart Nuwa. Talk about 64. If you see these circles here, both of them have 64 parts. This is from about 700 AD, from the Tang Dynasty. And look what they have in their hands: the compass and square. Remember, this is from China. We have this snake symbolism, their snake-bodied symbolism, and the 2 counterparts. So Nuwa, rather Fuzi, and his feminine counterpart Nuwa are very much the Thoth energy of the Taoists. And there's various constellations on the side here. It's a very intricate image.
I don't know, guys. It kind of feels Canaanite Phoenician to me.
It could be. I don't know. I don't know exactly, where which came first, right?
Right along that Silk Road, you've got these ideas starting to spread out from the Mesopotamian area. And now you're talking about these snake-bodied people, which comes directly from Greek mythology when you're talking about Erichthonius, who was the first king of Athens, right? He had a snake body. And all the rest of these snake-bodied things come sort of through this Greco-Roman influence. If you think about mythology as a way of like colonizing other people through ideas, you can kind of see how this religion thing works. It's like you provide a compelling image and then people come to you.
Yeah, that's like that snake bitch from fucking Golden Child. Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Nagas are in that tradition as well. It's the Proto-Indo-European influence.
Yeah, it's hard to say who influenced who because of but you may be right. I don't mean to refute you, Headless. I just don't know.
Well, you know what's even interesting with it too, though? You know how you would have like Hermes, or I would still associate Thoth with Mercury on the sphere, with the 8, on the 8th sphere on the Tree of Life. You do get that hermaphrodite there as well.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it almost, and the DNA staff goes along with them. So I mean, I even kind of see all that here.
Yep.
The caduceus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, there is in their origination story, I would say that Fuzi is the third created. So there's Pangu, and he gives birth. Pangu is the earth. He dies and becomes the earth, very similar to Odin's cosmology, I believe. Before Odin,
he's called the Chinese Prometheus.
Wow. So he'd breathe, like that bringer of knowledge.
He erupts from an egg, and his backbone becomes these massive mountains. And Pangu also bears the torch that he gave to mankind. And so he's also a giant. And they call him the Chinese Prometheus. Yeah.
And
Prometheus is a Titan.
Dude,
we see that there's the compass and square. It's a bit more refined of a set of tools. Pangu had the hammer and chisel. So that's the starting point of obtaining things, is the hammer and chisel. And
Prometheus was hammered to the Caucasus Mountains.
Wow. So Pangu gave birth. When he died, he became the earth, but he gave birth to the mother of Fuzi and Nuwa. So in a sense, in that story, Fuzi is the third born, the thrice great.
The thrice born. Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, yeah, it's really interesting that there's all these Thoth-like teacher-like entities, and the snake body and the sacred geometry. It's all there, right? So to wrap things up, I wanted to go into Oedipus, right? And talk about tarot, Nick. The origination of Oedipus is he's thrown out by his dad because his dad gets the prophecy that his son is going to kill him. So he hangs him by his feet on a tree. And he's the hanged man from like infancy. So pretty interesting symbolism there. And again, you have the tree, and he's rescued by a farmer, another king nearby. Anyway, and his whole life is kind of screwed up, but we accept the answer to him, or the answer of his to the riddle of the Sphinx. But he gets everything else wrong.
That's the one thing that he becomes a hero for, is because of his answer to the riddle of the Sphinx, and that's really revealing about this hanged man influence, is because he's like the ultimate mortal character, the ultimate flawed or fallen character of all the rest of them.
Yep. So the riddle of the Sphinx is from the play of Oedipus. Oedipus, however you say it. The next one, Nick, I got the riddle there that everyone can read. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? Most people know that the answer is man, or humans, rather, to be more politically correct. The staff of old age being the 3rd leg in the evening. But here we see Oedipus, and he's got a staff. And I would say that the answer actually is the master, the thrice great, walks on 3 legs, right? And we see here Oedipus himself has the staff there. And there's a second in this play. Again, we're talking about when Oedipus goes to defeat the Sphinx. I believe he was, even in the play, was in Egypt, but I'm not 100% sure. He might have been elsewhere. But the Sphinx and cherubim, widely celebrated symbol of a coming to get you character. There's known to be a second riddle of the Sphinx, and a little bit lesser known. So I would just say that with that, it's not the old person, it's the master.
Right? The cherubim have 4 heads too.
Right. Yeah.
Tetramorph.
You got the 4 horsemen, the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Right.
Got a lot of stuff.
And 4 is a super powerful number in all of Asian countries. Sometimes it's auspicious and lucky. Other times it's not even on the elevator buttons, right? Like floor 13 in the West. And sometimes they won't have 13 either. No 4, no 13. A -1, and then they start. So the next one is the second riddle of the Sphinx, and it just beckons the yin yang concept, right? There are 2 sisters. One gives birth to the other, and she in turn gives birth to the first. Who are the 2 sisters? And I mean, it just in that elaboration, you see the yin and yang. The answer is day and night, right? And day and night also has or rather, one day has 4 aspects, just like a year. There's day and night in the first polarity, and there's dawn and dusk in the second polarity. So, and now I'm going to get into something that I have not studied entirely, but it is so profound in bringing together these 4 aspects and lessons of 4 that I think it's worth sharing. And Eliphas Levi is a foundational occultist, and he came up with the idea about the powers of the Sphinx. So certainly the idea with the Egyptians was not getting old and carrying a staff. It was being immortal and holding a branch of the tree of life. And that's really what the staff symbolizes. It's not you're old, you need a stick. No, it's the reason why the kings and the priests and the philosophers, Moses to Tahuti to whoever, they all had a staff because it is the branch of the tree of life that they get to hold because they're empowered individuals. So here's a set of the 4 idea related to these 4 aspects of the Sphinx, which is, Nick, you might have heard of these in Thelema. I heard that this is like a Thelemic teachings.
Well, yeah. I mean, it kind of looks like, yeah.
To
Well, I mean, it
know,
also kind of
to
goes
dare,
along with
to will, to keep silent.
Yeah, it also kind of goes along with tarot.
And right, it's all right there. I think that the first polarity there, to know and to will. I saw this meme the other day. Like, people would rather argue about Crowley than learn about him.
Yeah.
So people would rather say the expression "do as thou will" without even knowing anything. You have to know first, otherwise it'll be horrible.
Yeah.
If you enact your will and you're an ignorant, materialistic, hollow, dun-dun, like we see so many today, that's no good. The first aspect to do as thou will is to know. So Eliphas Levi came up with this idea, illustrated in the next one.
All right.
Or maybe the next one, or I forget where I'm at. But yeah, here it is, right? Everything is possible to him who wills only what is true. Rest in nature, study, know, then dare. Dare to will, dare to act, and be silent. And there's that 4th aspect of silence again. And it's a very much like, you don't want to be braggadocio. Also, you don't necessarily want to let people know your practice because they might want to chop it down. If you don't let people know that you're not doing things harmful. I'm not saying to be clandestine and sneaky. I'm just saying, like, sometimes silence is just it's not sneaky. It's just showing by doing.
A lot of occultists were big time into the espionage racket.
That's true too. There's the exoteric interpretation of these esoteric ideas. Good point, Edlis. Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, Crowley was an MI6 agent, was he not?
Right.
Or
I think he was probably double agent, some shit.
MI5?
I definitely think he was intelligence of some sort.
Yeah. Whatever kind of intelligence. I mean, the same thing with fucking what's his name?
Aquino?
D. John D.
Right.
Yeah.
He was the original
007.
007. Yeah, man. Yeah. Him and
No,
Edward
he wasn't.
Kelly wife
Tubal Cain.
Tubal Cain?
cucking each other out.
007 is Tubal Cain.
Wow. I didn't know every day. Thank you, Heather.
Tubal Cain. Look at that.
So the next one is just another elaboration of this four mode of magic, if you will, that Eliphas Levi put forth. To learn how to will is to learn how to exercise dominion, but not this. What's the true power? Dominion of self, right? But that could be interpreted different ways and exerted different ways.
Well,
But to be able to exert will power, you must first know. For willpower applied to folly is madness, death, and hell. So there it is, right? The whole what Crowley is best known for, do as thou will, and people will just say that like that gives them some kind of right to do as thou will. Well, you gotta know first. You must know first. So the next one I wanted to point out, Nick, this is the Eye of Horus, and it goes along with the I Ching process, right? It's got up to the 164. It goes the other way, right? The I Ching goes to 64 parts. This goes to 164th. And this is Hecate. In a exoteric understanding, it is a measurement system of grain in ancient Egypt. This was by these fractions is how they measured their grain. And also,
what's I just want to add this in there real quick. If you really think about it, your cornea is basically like almost like grainy. Like it's really interesting.
Right, and I was going to say brain and grain, right? Because it's the way to measure the grain, and it's also the way to measure the brain, as they do here. The smell being 1/2 of the immediate perception value, as they put forth, which I think we unknowingly, like pheromones and so forth, these are really influential things going on, and we don't even really know, that we're smelling them sometimes. It's not like a conscious smell.
I had a weird evolutionary thought real quick. What if how we see the world influences how our brains are shaped? So different species of animals see the world differently, and in doing so, it's influencing the shape of the brain instead of vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you were to be a feral human and you end up with dogs, your sense of smell is going to be dumb heightened just because you're watching them doing it and you start doing it. You're just activating by practicing, right? So I think,
what if evolution requires a shifting of consciousness?
Sure. I don't think it's a what if. I think it is what is, right?
Right.
I was done with the images, Nick. But the 4, it just is a base way to perceive things, and also a base way to develop. And one thing I forgot to mention is that the yin yang symbol is actually the Tai Chi, and it means the grand ultimate polarity. And so when people practice what we say Tai Chi, it's not Tai Chi, it's Tai Chi. So they're practicing this self-development system, right? So that's just another exoteric and esoteric relationship.
I love it.
Oh, you know what I wanted to pull up before? Damn it. I think let me see if I have it. Just before when we were talking about 4s and like 8s and stuff. And again, these two planetary sigils have to do with Mercury and Jupiter. I mean, and Jupiter would be considered a higher arc of Mercury anyway, kind of. Yeah, you even have like the whole 4, caught up in 4 again. That is for Jupiter. It kind of just looked like even other shit you saw before. And then I do have...
there's
Hermes
2
was
lines.
the angel. Hermes was the angel of Zeus, or Jupiter.
And then... This one's interesting. The one
Oh,
from
wow.
Mercury, which would go with the 8th sphere. You do have like a bunch of like 4 squares, 4 circles. So even though that was seeing the 4 repeated still. Yeah.
It's a deep symbol.
Yeah, man. I learn something new every time I come on this show. So
That's great. Normally I do too.
great information.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Ethan, that was great. That was
Yeah.
I got to get your book, Ethan.
I really appreciate that, man.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Yeah. It's I think the fourth initiation really has some inspirational ideas and insights towards self-development on our own, not necessarily without the guides. It's not saying to remove anything you might have learned before, but it's more just kind of empowering for our own individuation.
Fourth dimensional thinking.
Fourth dimensional. I like that. Anybody have any questions or want to add anything?
I was just gonna say I ain't get to none of my tabs, man. You lucky, bro. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna have to have that discussion.
No, break it down. Do you have any?
Yeah. Was there anything that you kind of wanted to ask or bring up there?
It's not anything specific that I
Okay.
wanted to ask.
All right.
I just had, I just like some of the stuff that he talked about, the 4 meaning complete and stuff like that. Plays a lot of parts in Masonic rituals and ceremonies and stuff like that. So yeah, I appreciate it. I'm going to get more books because I've already read 2 of his books already. So, and he said the 4th initiation is the 4th one, of course, and there's other ones. So I have to go back and get the other ones, read those, then come back to this one and read this again just to get more of a basic understanding. So yeah, I enjoy his work. I mean, I've read his books like that. As soon as he sent them to me or told me they were on Amazon Kindle, I was like, oh yeah, let me go get them. I already have another one on there. It's going to be about another 2 or 3 weeks before I read them. So yeah, anybody that's interested in, either in meditation or numeral numbers or numbers and period and understanding, the consciousness and the person within you, I guarantee you'll learn a lot from reading these books.
Thanks, Tom.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Definitely. Headless or Jules, did you want to ask or add anything or?
Well, I was gonna say we were looking into Lithuanian paganism because Ethan's Lithuanian, and so there's this one symbol of Remuva, which is like the pagan equivalent of their native religion, right? And it has 4 snakes on the seal, and it's like that's perfect. Like you're all about the 4, and there's the 4 right there. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is badass symbol. Yeah, and it's really knowing the 4 aspect of things, or even imagining that it might be there when I look at symbols and when I'm looking at even symbological stories. I find it really helps decipher things. Like with the 322 idea, not necessarily verified, not necessarily entirely the truth. It's a possibility. And also with the riddle of the Sphinx, it may not be that what I'm saying that there is a 4th aspect, but as soon as I saw that there's the 3 fold idea, it just kind of made me think, well, there's a 4th answer here. So I think it does help interpret different things.
Definitely.
Yo, Ethan, thank you very much, man. I'm really, really happy you came back on and did that. Definitely, definitely 10 times better than last time. That's because there was other people here. So, oh yeah, man, thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys so much.
Oh yeah. I guess we could just wrap it up then. We'll let everybody plug their shows and promote their stuff again. Headless, what is going on over there, man?
That was a great episode. It felt like a whole initiation all on its own. So thank you so much, Ethan.
You're the man. Thank you.
You can email me your occult stories at theheadlessgiant@gmail.com, and we will read those on Thursday. So check it out. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Jules, what is up, brother?
Nick, again, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Great presentation. Like I said, I'm going to have to try to remember to get your book sooner than later. Headless, Tyrone, it's always good hanging out with you guys. Hearing what y'all have to say. These shows are a lot of fun, guys. You can find me on Twitter, Graypilled Pod, Instagram, Graypilled_podcast. I'm on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. I'm on Locals and Patreon because some people don't like Patreon or they're banned from Patreon or whatever. So you can support me on Locals, and I post all the streams over there. You get basically like your own show on Patreon. It's all Patreon exclusive content. Esoteric book review. We do watch parties. We do a lot of cool stuff. I might start having guests on Patreon shows and doing them on there a couple weeks before I drop them. We do the Elohim etymologies on there before we drop them. So yeah, go check me out there. Patreon.com/Grateful Podcast. And yeah, Sunday Chaos this Sunday night. Our degenerate show that we do, news show or whatever it is. Me and the boys get together, hang out, y'all.
You taking over the Tower Gang slot, huh?
Rumble. Yeah, it's the Timu Tower Gang. Yeah.
Timu.
Tunnel Gang. But we're not Jews. So sorry. That was a bad joke.
Oh, I can't wait.
Anyway, but yeah, y'all check us out tomorrow. I guess we'll be doing. We got a couple shows tomorrow, right? You'll see me on one of them.
Oh yeah.
On the later show, perhaps.
Yeah,
depends on when I do.
If you can, man, yeah, for sure. Library of the Occult
man.
tomorrow.
Yeah, no, this is great, and I appreciate you making me a part of this, Nick.
Hell yeah, of course. Definitely,
awesome show, gentlemen.
And before we get to Tyrone and Ethan to let them plug their stuff, I do want to jump in because people are probably already starting to like shut it off regardless. But I forgot to mention it in the beginning. There is events that the Occult Rejects will have booths at. Tyrone and myself will be at a bunch of them. Tyrone will be at a bunch of them with me. And then maybe even other people. But I did want to plug some of the dates and at least like where they're supposed to be at. So September 26th to 27th in Mount Airy, Georgia. October 4th, Franklin, North Carolina. That's like a Bigfoot thing. Those both there are Bigfoot, but they'll have other like weird shit there. Other weird stuff there. Then there's Charlie's Beyond Belief, October 18th, and Brooke from the Occult Rejects but Dark Florida podcast. She is actually speaking at the event. And she's got a booth next to us. We grabbed booth number 33, and she got booth 32. Fuck it, it's at a Masonic Lodge. You got to do it right. Come check that place out. Yeah, Charlie's Beyond Belief, and that will be in Fort Myers, Florida. So even if you want to come down and talk some shit and see if I want to cash some checks, you can come check me out down there. October 25th to 26th. You got the UFO Comic-Con in Greenville, South Carolina. November 22nd, UFO Comic-Con, Mooresville, North Carolina. And then December 5th and 6th, some art thing where there'll be authors, artists, and filmmakers and weird stuff. Mount Airy, Georgia. So come check it out if you can. Most of those events, too, are like $10 a piece. So even if you just want to like fucking... If you're around in the area and just meet up with us and talk shit, it's $10. So, yeah, come hang out. We'll have a booth and we'll have some wild shit set up, too, as well. All right, I'm done talking. I'll shut up. Tyrone, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, this was a good show, but you already know that, Ethan. You bring great material whenever you speak, or write a book. So either way that goes, you know how that goes. Everything you can find on me is on my website, rebirthoftheword.com. You can find my Rumble, my Twitter accounts, my Facebook accounts, my LinkedIn, and stuff like that. So, yeah, just be on the lookout for my documentary. Well, it's not so-called like a documentary type what you see on television, but it's like a documentary of all the places that I'm visiting around the Americas and other places. So you get a more feel of it because a lot of people are going to AI, and I'm trying to not do that. I want to bring real, authentic material to the people. So, yeah, check that out.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much, sir. And last but not least, the guest of the hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Ethan Indigo, thank you again very much, sir, for coming on and
No,
covering
thank
it.
you, Nick, for putting together all the awesome shows. Headless, Jules, Tyrone, I thank you so much for your friendship and support. That was really fun. Yeah, I'm on all the usual social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and so on. And I can be found easily. And my book is on Amazon, can be found easy too. And I thank you everyone for the support. I was trying to look at the chat and not laugh too much. So thanks
You
for
gotta
everyone.
get your own episode on my show. You gotta
Anytime.
on Gray Pill. You two, Tyrone.
Yo, Ethan's got a lot to say, actually, if you let him go. He's got a
I
lot
can
of shit
talk
in that
about
head,
so
man.
much stuff. I got PowerPoint presentations ready, so I'm ready anytime.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Every
Yeah, Tyrone's
Tuesday,
ready to go, too.
8:30 Central, Already Dead. I'm the producer. I run behind the scenes, but Jose Galison and Austin Picard, you can catch it on their channels or mine. I stream it to my channel too. So Tuesday, did I say Thursday? I meant Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Fuck me.
Yes.
Um,
Is that why you're not there sometimes?
work 10 hours a day.
He's like, fuck you, Dave.
I'm there on Thursday, like waiting.
Yeah, all right,
Every
man.
Thursday. But yeah, guys, great show tonight.
Hell yeah.
Great show tonight, fellas.
Absolutely.
Definitely. No, that was a great show, Ethan. Again, I really, I don't know if you added other stuff. It just seemed like it was different than last time, maybe because it was different people here. But that was really, really great stuff, man. And the chat was awesome. So
Yeah, I
really
tried to make it a little different, but
oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. But yeah, that is the end of another Occult Rejects. And thanks again for everybody in the chat. That's what's up. Thank you all for making it tonight. I know it's a little bit later, but I appreciate it. And until the next one, everybody be well. Later.